Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome back to Crack Grade B. मेरा नाम है ऋषभ. And let's begin today's class for economics and finance issues and analysis. Okay. Good morning Nivedita. Good morning Nisha. Good morning Monica. Good morning Professor. Let's start the class. Okay. Okay. So first news, World Bank and then ADB. So both have cut India's growth forecast. So World Bank has said our growth will be around 6.3% in financial year 24. As per RBI's new monetary policy statement, जो अभी हुआ है एक दिन पहले, the RBI has said that India will grow at 6.5%. Earlier, RBI said India will grow at 6.4% in financial year 24. ठीक है, and 6.4 is also for ADB. We will see it. But अभी World Bank पे focus करते हैं. And what is the name of this report? So the name of the report is India Development Update. India Development Update. Okay, so the World Bank said the real GDP growth is expected to moderate from 6.9% in financial year 23. This means World Bank projects India's GDP growth at 6.9%. NSO projects it at 7.0% to 6.3% in financial year 24 because of global slowdown, spillovers and slower consumption growth. So हमें global problem तो थी ही पहले, global slowdown की वजह से export issues तो थे ही, but our slower consumption growth means our domestic demand is also expected to fall due to high price, high credit, means high credit cost, high prices due to rising inflation, because inflation is again above 6%. RBI is not looking for inflation currently. Okay, so the World Bank cautioned that consumer spending by lower income groups is expected to be hit in financial year 24 due to slower growth in income. So real wages are not growing. Okay, inflation is high, so that's why consumption expenditure means domestic demand will be lower in India. Okay, CPI based inflation will moderate to 5.2% in financial year 24, around same the RBI is saying. Okay, the multilateral agency said that the central and state government debt means the debt to GDP ratio, is going to be at 83% for financial year 23. ठीक है, debt to GDP ratio at 83%. As per FRBM, it should be 60%. State 20%, center 40%, 60%. तो 60% पहुंचने का टारगेट है हमारा 2025 फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2025 तक 60% अगेंस्ट debt to GDP ratio which should be having. So currently it is 83% as per World Bank. Now facilitated by widespread access to vaccines, extreme poverty rates are estimated to have declined to around 14% in financial year 22. ठीक है, ये याद रखना, ऊपर फाइनेंशियल ईयर 24 की बात हुई है अप टू इन्फ्लेशन, then debt to GDP ratio talking about financial year 23 and the poverty rate for financial year 22. जो भी डेटा रहता है वर्ल्ड बैंक के पास, अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट इंडिया डेवलपमेंट अपडेट में उन्होंने रिलीज किया. 14%, around 14% will be extreme poverty, are the extreme poverty rate for financial year 22. And further, World Bank has said that it is expected to fall down further because the consumption demand rose in the year after lockdowns. That's why employment grew more in India. So अगली जो अपडेट आएगी, अगर आएगी भी तो, so extreme poverty rate may fall further. Okay, now World Bank forecasts that private consumption growth is expected to grow at 6.9%, the household consumption. ठीक है, C. Okay, private consumption 6.9%. Don't remember everything, just go through it. 6.9%. Government consumption growth 1.1%, shrink by 1.1%. Okay, this means अब गवर्नमेंट कंजम्पशन क्या होती है? गवर्नमेंट कंजम्पशन फॉर ट्रांसफर पेमेंट्स लाइक सब्सिडीज फॉर इनकम, पेंशंस, डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट्स. ठीक है, तो ये सब में जो डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंडिचर करती है गवर्नमेंट विदाउट एनी कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ एसेट, this is called government consumption. It is going to shrink by 1.1%. and it is good precedent because it will reduce our revenue deficit कम करेगा हमारा अगर government is going to be fiscally prudent, but the government should not stop funding welfare schemes like NGNREGA or other schemes. ठीक. Now, growth fixed capital formation is an indicator of fixed asset expected to expand at 9.3% in financial year 24, backed by the government expenditure. ठीक है, बट फाइनेंशियल ईयर 23 में ये ज्यादा ग्रोथ थी. क्यों थी? बिकॉज प्राइवेट players were also investing more, but since taking credit has become more costly, so private fixed capital formation has fallen down. So ये जो 9.3% gross fixed capital formation है, it is led by the government expenditure of 10 lakh crore that the government has promised in the budget. Okay, now exports in goods and services will grow at 9.2% in financial year 24, lower than 11.5% in financial year 23. Means our external sector is again going to suffer, especially in exports, because demand for our goods is declining. Okay, because there is inflation, there are problems in the West. UK is not going to grow. ठीक है, यूके इधर उधर घूम के हर जगह से मल्टीलैटरल ट्रीटी करने की सोच रहा है. ठीक है, नाउ यूके इज अ पार्ट ऑफ एशिया पैसिफिक इकोनॉमिक कोऑपरेशन. ठीक है, वहां पैसिफिक को टच भी नहीं करता यूके, एंड स्टिल अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट प्रोग्राम. It is looking forward for an FTP with India. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, now on the external front, the current account deficit is estimated to narrow to 2.1% of GDP from 3% in financial year 2023. ठीक है. South Asia region as whole is expected to grow at 5.6%. So this was the India expectation. ठीक है, from this report. Now ADB. In the latest Asian Development Outlook. ADB in the latest Asian Development Outlook, it has said that the global condition has not deteriorated as much as they have expected because of the war and supply chain issues. इतना भी खराब नहीं हुआ, and also the economies have recovered better, much better and faster, and also Chinese economy has opened up, and that zero COVID policy and lockdowns are no longer there in the Chinese economy. That's why the growth will be higher. ADB is Manila based, Philippines based. इसका सबसे बड़ा promoter है Japan. Highest share is with Japan. That's why the chief is also from Japan. Okay, highest share. So ADB is more optimistic on prospects of domestic consumption growth. Okay, World Bank is not. Okay, World Bank is saying our domestic consumption growth will slow down. ADB is optimistic. So the group's 46 member nations across continent are set to grow at 4.8% in 2023-24, faster than 4.2% last year. ठीक है, अब ये 2023-24 कैलेंडर ईयर की बात हो रही है. अगर FY नहीं लिखा है तो कैलेंडर ईयर की बात होती है. 4.8% growth rate रहेगा of the ADB group of nations, 46 nations, but there are more. There are 68 currently, but 46 member nations जो high performing economies हैं, they will grow at 4.8% in both 2023 and 24, faster than the last year. So ADB is projecting higher economic growth in its peer nations as opposed to other multilateral agencies. Okay, inflation should moderate at 4.2% this year in a slight easing from 4.4%. 4.2% for these member nations, not for India, just for India. ठीक है, now Indian economy is expected to grow at 6.4% this year. This year means 2023. Financial year 24 समझ लो. 6.4% ADB has said. Now this slowdown is from 7.2% projected earlier. पहले कहा था कि 7.2% grow करेगा, but it will grow at 6.4%. This follows a 9.1% annual expansion in 2021 growth and 6.8% GDP growth last year, means 2022. Okay, so 6.8% was according to ADB, 6.8% for financial year 23, 6.4% for financial year 24. ठीक है, स्लो डाउन है ये एज पर एडीबी. Okay. Now monetary policy, not much to study because there is no change. 6.5% है benchmark rate, repo rate. There is no change in RBI monetary policy for this time. It's very, surprising because even the finance ministry for the first time has said that RBI should focus more on inflation than growth, and still RBI has not increased the interest rate. Generally क्या होता है, RBI increases interest rate and finance ministry says कि they shouldn't have. This time the finance ministry said, the official said that go on and increase interest rate and control inflation, and even after that RBI has not. Okay, so they are looking for other factors and looking at the government, that the government should do something more to control inflation. Okay, so the decision to hold. Now this decision to keep repo rate unchanged was taken unanimously. Generally, 4 out of 6 people are, or by majority, this policy increase, repo rate increase is taken. ठीक है, but unanimous decision था to not increase the policy repo rate. Okay, that's what it is written. The MPC had differences of opinion on the rate action earlier. So the policy repo rate will be 6.5, standing deposit facility 6.25, margin and standing facility at 6.75. Okay. Standing deposit facility means collateral free parking of bank's fund in RBI. Okay, 6.25% मिलेगा. 6.5% repo rate है. MSF is like penalty rate, 6.75%. If you want overnight loans without collateral, then you can use the MSF rates. The banks can use the MSF rates. Okay, the stance is same. Withdrawal of accommodation. Majority of 5 out of 6 members has said withdrawal of accommodation should be there. A withdrawal of accommodation क्या होता है? That RBI may or may not increase in the next meeting, but it is surely not going to decrease. Okay, it is surely not going to decrease the interest rate. Now, average daily absorption under liquidity adjustment facility LAF is 1.4 lakh crore during February-March. Okay, money supply, the broad money supply M3, इसको broad money बोलते हैं, is expanded by 9.0%. Okay, now you can read this. The 6 members of MPC: Shashank Bhede, Ashima Goyal, Professor Jayant Verma, Rajiv Ranjan, Michael Debabrata Patra, and Sri Shaktikanta Das unanimously voted to keep policy repo rate unchanged. ठीक है? And except Professor Jayant R. Verma, everyone else voted for same policy stance, that is withdrawal of accommodation. Okay, unanimous decision बहुत तो 3 के मीटिंग्स के बाद आया है. And Dr. Ashima Goyal never wants to increase repo rate. Okay, she is against increase in repo rate. She wants the government to do more, and because monetary policy का जो effect होता है, it comes with a lag. Even let's say in the last monetary policy they increased 25 basis point repo rate. उसको economy में दिखने में, just to show the impact of it in economy, it takes at least 3 months, 4 months. Okay, so that's why there is a stop or a pause in increase of interest rate. और वैसे भी क्रेडिट सिचुएशन में प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है आगे जाके, क्योंकि महंगा होता जाएगा और ज्यादा लोन. So our private investment will further go down. The government wants crowding in of private investment. Higher interest rate will cause crowding out. Okay, now growth projection is, RBI governor said the RBI has projected real GDP growth at 6.5%. Important, क्योंकि पिछली वाली मीटिंग में the RBI said that the real GDP growth will be 6.4%. In this, they have said it will be 6.5%. Okay, now quarter on quarter, 7.8, 6.2, 7.8, 6.2, 6.1, 5.9 means continuous fall quarter on quarter for GDP. Highest quarter 1 में रहेगी 7.8% and overall growth will be 6.5%. The baseline growth as predicted by NSO in the economic survey also. Now inflation will be 5.2%. Okay. Inflation will be 5.2%, assuming that crude oil price will be $85 per barrel. Okay, so inflation will be 5.2%, lower than earlier projected at 5.3. पहले बोला था 5.3 होगा, but वो कम होगा 5.2% के आसपास, and that's why RBI is not increasing the repo rate. They are looking forward that for quarter 1 means April May June, ठीक है, April to June के क्वार्टर को चेक करेंगे, and they have predicted that inflation will average at 5.1%. इसीलिए जरूरत महसूस नहीं हुई इन लोगों को कि पॉलिसी रेट को बढ़ाया जाए, because it will fall down the tolerance limit of RBI, that is 6%. Okay, so overall inflation रहेगा 5.2% for the financial year 24 as per the current monetary policy meeting. Okay, now easy simple news. Government unveils plan to add 250 gigawatt in the next 5 years. कौन से 5 year होंगे ये? From financial year 24 to financial year 28. The next 5 year, financial year 24 to financial year 28, मतलब 2023 से लेके 2028 तक 250 gigawatt of renewable energy in the next 5 years, because we have to increase it, touch the 500 gigawatt clean energy target by 2030, our own nationally determined contribution. ठीक है, ये हमारा खुद का नेशनली डिटरमाइंड कंट्रीब्यूशन है. ठीक है, तो टच करना है 500 गीगावाट एंड इट इंक्लूड्स न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी, एंड करेंटली हम लोगों के पास है अराउंड 170 गीगावाट. वी आर गोइंग टू टच 175 गीगावाट ऑफ क्लीन रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी सोर्सेस. So 65 gigawatt solar power means solar power is the highest renewable energy source in India. Remember this, solar power at 65, around 65 gigawatt is the highest energy renewable energy sources in India. इसमें से अगर मरकॉम की रिपोर्ट याद हो तो 13 गीगावाट is added in a single year. ठीक है, 2022 में अकेले 13 गीगावाट has been added. Okay, and remember this, the government has decided to invite bids for 50 gigawatt of renewable energy per year. 50 गीगावाट हर साल जोड़ेंगे, 5 साल में 250 गीगावाट जोड़ लेंगे. Okay, now SEBI news. This is easy news. All the SEBI want just कि कोई misuse ना हो and mis-selling ना हो, mis-advertisement ना हो. So SEBI takes few of measures to crack down on misleading investment ads. What SEBI did was, terms like best, number one, top, leading, and one of the best among the market leaders should not be used in advertisement. Now, investment advisors have been asked to seek prior approval of the advertisement from SEBI recognized supervisory body. Okay, means just like censor board, before releasing a film, the film goes to censor board. Censor board देखता है, कुछ कट वट लगाना होता है तो बता देता है. Just like that, there will be a SEBI recognized supervisory body that will check whether the advertisement is as per the norms or not, and then the ads can be released. Okay, too much regulations again. The registered entities have also been directed not to engage in games, leagues, competition, and involve any kind of gift, medals or prize money. Okay, for example, ये मैं कर लेता हूँ, आप टीम बनाइए. These type of advertisement should not be there with these registered entities of SEBI. Those who are providing financial products should not be involved in these gift, medals, competition, leagues type of apps. Okay, yes professor, we will talk about it tomorrow, because tomorrow I will revise mostly 4 दिन का MCQs, some of this, and India labor justice report has arrived. India's justice report has arrived. We will talk about that. Don't worry, we will talk about it. Monetary policy के साथ. Okay, now SEBI has directed the investment advisors and analysts to not extensively use technical terminologies or complex languages. Also, the investment advisor cannot promise or guarantee assured risk-free returns, target return, or percentage accuracy. Okay. Now, among the disclosures, the player have been asked to give information on registration number, logo, office address, warnings, etc. and other disclaimers. तो disclaimer देना जरूरी है, ऑफिस एड्रेस देना जरूरी है, लोगो होना चाहिए, वेबसाइट होनी चाहिए, ये डिस्क्लोजर्स जरूरी है. ठीक है. एंड ऑल्सो नो फिक्स्ड रिटर्न गारंटी स्कीम, ऐसा कुछ भी एडवर्टीजमेंट में नहीं बोलना. Okay, so these are the some measures for crack down on misleading investment ads. Now, simple news: bank credit growth at 15%. Okay, so bank credit rose by 15% year on year in financial year 23. कितना हो गया बढ़ के? Around 18 trillion rupees. 18 trillion rupees credit, and the debit rose by to 15.78, let's say 16 trillion rupees. Now again we can see that the deposits are not growing faster as the credits are growing. There is a mismatch, and that can be a problem, and that's why RBI is continuously infusing money. Banks are raising money through tier 2 and tier 81 bonds. We can see that. Okay. So financial year 23 credit growth is highest since 2011-12 when it was 19.3%. ठीक है. क्रेडिट ग्रोथ 15% रहा है इस साल. $18 ट्रिलियन रुपीस के आसपास रहा है, and it is growing faster than the deposit rates. Okay, now global trade growth expected to be subpar at 1.7%. Again a new report after World Bank, ADB, now WTO. But इसमें एक silver lining है. Silver lining ये है that in earlier estimates the WTO has said that the global trade growth will be 1% this year. मतलब 2023 में 1% होगा. But now it has revised it to 1.7%. But there is a problem also that WTO has said 3.5% will be the global growth rate, global trade growth rate in 2022, जो कि कम होके हो गया है 2.7%. And for next year, मतलब 2024 के लिए, it is around 3.2%. Now let's read. The World Trade Organization said the global merchandise trade volume is expected to grow at 1.7% in 2023 as compared to earlier estimate of 1%. Okay, तो इस साल का बढ़ गया, मतलब लास्ट ईयर, इस साल का बढ़ गया ट्रेड ग्रोथ, लास्ट ईयर का घट गया ट्रेड ग्रोथ. So 2.7% increase in world trade volume in 2002 was lower than the October forecast of 3.5%. Okay, why? Mainly due to sharper than expected quarter-on-quarter decline in the fourth quarter owing to elevated global commodity prices, monetary policy tightening in response to inflation, and outbreaks of COVID-19 that disrupted production and trade in China. तो तीन reasons क्या हुए कम होने के? First, the zero COVID policy of China. The second is obviously the war. ठीक है. Now, and third, the monetary tightening response due to inflation, because global central banks have been tightening the monetary policy. So rates are increasing, lesser credit dispersal is there. Okay, that's why trade slowed down in 2022. Also, it said that the trade growth is below 12-year average of 2.6% after 2008 global financial crisis. Okay. Now, trade growth is expected to rebound at 3.2% in 2024. So 2.7% 2022, 1.7% 2023, and 3.2% in 2024. Remember this. Okay, now as far as India is concerned, its share is 1.8% in global merchandise trade, ranking 18th position. In case of imports, it is 2.8%. India's rank in imports is 9th. Okay, India is expected to witness 6% year-on-year growth in merchandise trade in 2023 financial year. Okay, here is a list. Top importer is US, top exporter is China. Okay, top importer is US, top exporter is China. India is 9th in the list of importers and 18th for overall global trade. Okay. Now, simple news that India is going to import milk products for the first time in in a decade. 10 साल में या 12 साल में पहली बार India can it's still under consideration, but India can import milk products. Why? Because the milk prices have risen by at least 15% in the last 1.5 years. अब ये बढ़ा हुआ है 15%, में भी ज्यादा ही बढ़ा हुआ है, ठीक है, because Amul has increased aggressively the prices. Okay, around 20%, 25%. Average price increases 15%. For Amul, it is around 20-25%. So that's why government is looking to import milk. So India last imported major dairy products in 2011. Though India imports high-value milk products like casein and cheese and not mass-consumed items like butter, ghee, or dahi, or skim milk powder, etc. Okay, milk output in the country was 221 million tons. Not very important for RBI. Okay, now India elected to UN Stats Panel for 4-year term. Now that is important. 2024 1 जनवरी से 1 January 2024 India will be the head of UN Statistical Commission. Okay, so India is elected to the highest UN statistical body for a 4-year term beginning 1st of January 2024 with a whopping majority of 46 out of 53 votes for India. 46 out of 53 votes for India. Okay, maybe the deputy will be South Korea. Now, India's expertise in the field of statistics, diversity, and demography has earned it a seat on the UN Statistical Commission. This statement has been said by our External Affairs Minister. Okay, now India has been elected as UN Statistical Commission for a 4-year term. Now, what is UN Statistical Commission? It was established with UN, obviously, in 1947. It's the highest body of global statistical system, bringing together the chief statistician from member states around the world. ठीक है, तो India will head the UN Statistical Commission. That's all. इतना ही याद करना है. 4 साल के लिए है. 2024 से शुरू होगा, 28 तक चलेगा. Okay. Now, this was tweeted by Prime Minister, so it is important. ये number याद रख लेना. So, around 40,700 crore was sanctioned to 1.8 lakh accounts under Stand Up India scheme. Okay, Stand Up India scheme is mostly for women, SC/ST based entrepreneurship, where the stakeholder percentage is more than 50%, यानी 51% या above अगर stakeholder हैं women or SC/ST, then they are eligible for Stand Up India. Okay, and every bank branch has to give at least 10 लाख से 1 करोड़ तक के बीच का लोन. Every bank branch should give under Stand Up India scheme. Okay, ये तो clear है, ये तो सब कुछ पढ़ा है. So as much as 40,710 crore sanctioned over 1.8 lakh account under the government's flagship Stand Up India scheme during the last 7 years since its inception. ठीक है, 2016 में शुरू हुई थी ये स्कीम. 7 साल में 7 साल में it has increased to the payment has in the government investment has increased to 40,710 crore. इतना लोन्स दिया गया है, ठीक है, क्योंकि लोन्स कितने देने हैं? 10 लाख से 1 करोड़ तक पर बैंक ब्रांच. Okay, of the funds sanctioned till March, about 80% of the loan have been given to women entrepreneurs. Remember this. In Stand Up India, maximum loan has been given to women entrepreneurs. Remember this. Okay. According to official data, 33,000 crore was sanctioned to 0.14 million and 1.4 lakh accounts of women, while 5,625 crore sanctioned to 26,000 SC accounts and around 2,000 crore for 9,000 ST accounts. ठीक है, तो मैक्सिमम शेयर किसके पास गया है? 80% टू women. Okay, don't remember all these numbers. Okay, just for reference है ये नंबर इस पैरा का. The scheme was launched in 2016 to promote entrepreneurship among women, SC/ST categories to help them starting greenfield enterprises in manufacturing services or एग्रीकल्चर एंड एलाइड सर्विसेज। ठीक है, तो इस इन एरियाज में स्टार्टअप स्टार्ट करने के लिए टू मार्जिनल सेक्शन SC/ST एंड वुमेन स्टैंड अप इंडिया स्कीम वाज स्टार्टेड एंड इट हैज बीन एक्सटेंडेड अप टू 2025, extended up to 2025. Remember this also. Okay. Now government revises gas pricing formula, CNG pipe cook gas to cost 10% less. अब ये फॉर्मूला क्या हो गया है? Now the natural gas that is produced from legacy oil fields in India has been linked to the imported crude oil prices. The prices has been indexed to or linked to the imported crude oil prices instead of benchmarking it to gas prices in four surplus nation. तो पहले क्या करते थे यूएस, कनाडा, रशिया में के जो नेशन, ये जो नेशन है, इनकी जो एवरेज कॉस्ट होती थी वो उससे इंडेक्स कर देते थे नेचुरल गैस को. दैट्स व्हाई आवर प्राइसेस यूज्ड टू बी हायर. नाउ सिंस it is indexed to imported crude oil and crude oil is obviously currently costing cheaper to India. So it is expected, the government has said it, that it is expected that CNG and pipe cooking gas prices will go down by 10%. The CNG and pipe cooking gas prices will go down by 10% because the natural gas produced from legacy oil fields, ठीक है, legacy oil fields like old fields will now be indexed to imported crude oil instead of surplus nation average cost. Okay. That's all you have to remember. Now, important news: Finland joins NATO and end of Finlandization. So Finlandization is nothing but वहाँ यूरोप का एक नॉर्डिक नेशंस का एक नॉन अलाइंड मूवमेंट. During the Cold War, some nations, the Nordic nations, were neutral. Okay, so this has ended because Finland and Sweden both had applied for NATO. Now Finland becomes the 31st member of NATO. But to be a member of NATO, all the present members of NATO should vote so that people can be included. Extra countries can be included. Sweden को ये मौका नहीं मिला है because the Turkey and Hungary has voted against Sweden. So Finland joined NATO on April 4, making the definite shift in Europe's post-World War II alignment and isolating Russia further. Now it is more important because Finland has a border with Russia. Finland has a border with Russia, and Russia has warned Finland to warned against joining NATO. But still Finland got to join NATO. And let's see what happens now. Okay, in fact, in the Cold War years, a policy of neutrality between Soviet Union and the West was known as Finlandization. West means Europe. यूरोप और सोवियत यूनियन में एक फ्रेंडली चलता था. क्यों चलता था सोवियत में? बिकॉज टिल 1990 देयर वाज अ जर्मन वॉल, बर्लिन वॉल जिसको बोला जाता है. सो वेस्ट जर्मनी वाज कंट्रोल्ड बाय यूएस, ईस्ट जर्मनी वाज कंट्रोल्ड बाय रशिया. So obviously Russia and Europe, the cultural intermixing was there. Okay, now Finland and its neighbor Sweden applied for NATO membership soon after Russian invasion of Ukraine. But Finland became the 31st NATO members, and Sweden's bid is being held up by Turkey and Hungary because every member should vote for a new country to become a NATO member. अब ये फिनलैंड से पहले बना था वो मैसिडोनिया, नॉर्थ मैसिडोनिया ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम कोविड 2000 something 2020. Okay, so Ati, good morning. Rajiv, is it possible to conduct important content? 8 to 10 p.m. It's already booked. Okay, you can watch it on recording, no problem. Okay, so आज की news भी समाप्त. We will reach MCQs now. And someone had asked me about the GST compensation. Wait, just wait. Somebody asked me about GST compensation cess. So I knew the story, I didn't knew the numbers. ठीक है, स्टोरी वही है. For GST compensation in 2020 and 21, the central government had to borrow. ठीक है, around 2 lakh crore, more than 2 lakh crore. ठीक है, central government borrowed more than 2 lakh crore. Now, to pay back this 2 lakh crore, the central government increased the tenure to have GST compensation cess till financial year 26. इसको खत्म हो जाना था फाइनेंशियल ईयर 22 में कंपनसेशन. सो कंपनसेशन खत्म हो गया, स्टेट्स को कंपनसेशन फाइनेंशियल ईयर 22 मतलब जून 2022 के बाद नहीं मिलेगा. रिमेंबर दिस. बट सिंस द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट बोरोड to give the states more than 2 lakh crore during the COVID times as GST compensation. That's why central government to pay back this loan is still charging GST compensation cess on goods that are in the 28% plus cess items like cars, sin goods, alcohol like that. ठीक है, तो ये जो 2 लाख करोड़ से ज्यादा का सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने लोन लिया था, इसको वापस करने के लिए जीएसटी कंपनसेशन सेस 2026 फाइनेंशियल ईयर तक till 2026 फाइनेंशियल ईयर तक गवर्नमेंट इज गोइंग टू लेवाई ऑन द कंज्यूमर्स. बट दिस इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड टू स्टेट्स. वो खत्म हो गया 2022 में. दिस इज फॉर द फाइनेंशियल टू ऑफलोड द फाइनेंशियल बर्डन ऑफ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट इटसेल्फ, क्योंकि उन्होंने बोरो किया था. ओके, so this is all about GST compensation. It should have been ideally stopped at financial year 22, but क्योंकि पे बैक करना है लोन सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को, तो ये इंक्रीज कर दिया गया है टिल फाइनेंशियल ईयर 26. ये 2 लाख करोड़ वापस करने हैं सरकार को, मोर देन 2 लाख करोड़ एक्चुअली. ओके, सो नाउ MCQs on public demand. So those people who will be watching recording, please try it on your own. Please try to comment. It will help you to retain. Let's start. Now, which of the following is incorrect about the India Development Report? Question number 1. Incorrect. Okay. No, not E. It's only A. E is correct. 2.1% of GDP by financial year 24 will be our current account deficit, down from 3% for financial year 23. Correct Isha, correct Nivedita, correct Professor. Okay. Now, as per ADB, India's economy is expected to grow at a slower pace of. अब यहाँ पे देख लो, ये याद रखना, यहाँ पे इकोनॉमी 6.3% है, एज पर RBI 6.5% है, एज पर ADB is here. Correct, correct Isha, correct Professor. Correct Swati, correct Nivedita. Yes, everyone is right. C is the right answer, 6.4%. Okay, now, so as per monetary policy meeting of April, which of the following are correct? Correct, Professor. Right, you are right. There is one before. Okay, let's see. So the decision to keep the repo rate unchanged was taken unanimously. Yes, it is correct. 6 out of 6. MPC decided by a majority, 5 out of 6 members for withdrawal of accommodation. This is also right. So RBI is projected real GDP growth for 2023-24 at 6.4%. No, it is at 6.5%. Changed. So this is wrong. जहाँ भी 3 है वो हटा देना. A and D are gone. Okay, now 1 is not here, so C is the correct answer. 1, 2, and 4. CPI inflation at 5.2 and broad money. Broad money means पोस्ट ऑफिस वाला पैसा हटा के जितना पैसा सर्कुलेशन में इन द बैंक्स और करेंसी इन सर्कुलेशन, कैश इन हैंड्स, दैट इज ब्रॉड मनी एक्सेप्ट द पोस्ट ऑफिस डिपॉजिट्स एंड टाइम पोस्ट ऑफिस टाइम डिपॉजिट्स एंड डिपॉजिट्स. तो ये 6% नहीं है, दिस इज 9% ग्रोथ. Okay, so C 1, 2, and 4 is right. Correct, Isha. You are also right. Okay, so एक भी अगर ऑप्शन गलत था, so by elimination also you could have arrived at the answer. कोई जरूरी नहीं कि सारा इंफॉर्मेशन याद हो. ऐसे क्वेश्चंस में आप एलिमिनेशन लगा सकते हैं. ठीक है. Now, SEBI takes fewer measures to crack down on misleading investment ads. Which of the following is not one such measure? Correct, Isha. Correct, Professor. 2 correct answers. Correct, Swati. Correct, Nivedita. So D is the right answer. The investment advisor cannot promise or guarantee any assured or risk-free return. Now, as per WTO report, which of the following is not correctly matched for global trade growth? Correct, Professor. It is right. Okay, no answers now. It is C. C is wrong. It is right 2.7 from 3.5 earlier estimate, 1.7 up from 1% earlier estimate. It is not 3.8, it is 3.2% for 2024. And India's import rank is obviously 9. Overall export rank 18. Overall trade rank 18. Right answer. C is wrong here, not correctly matched. Now here, recently India elected to the highest UN body for a 4-year term beginning 1st of January, securing 46 out of 53 votes. Which body is being talked about? Correct, Professor. Correct, Isha. Yes, Professor. Correct. Correct, Swati. Right answer is the correct answer. UN Statistical Commission for 4 years, 2024 January से 2028 January. Okay. Now, As much as 40,000 crore sanctioned to over 1.8 lakh account under the government flagship Stand Up India scheme since its inception in dash. Correct. Correct, Professor. This data will be important. ठीक है, प्रधानमंत्री ट्वीट करना अच्छा लगता है उनको, उन्होंने अगर किया है, that's why this data becomes important. Yes, it is extended to 25. Correct, Isha Swati. Correct. 2026 Stand Up India. 80% for women, Professor. Yes, you are right. Okay. Now, natural gas produced from legacy oil fields will now be indexed to the price of dash instead of benchmarking to the gas prices in poor surplus nations. Okay, so let me answer it. It will be linked to the prices of imported crude oil and not domestic crude oil. अगर domestic से ही link करना होता तो पहले ही नहीं कर लेते. ये oil field domestic है. If they had to link it to domestic, because the global oil prices are OPEC plus nations mostly determine what will be the cost of petroleum or crude. So always imported crude oil. Okay, imported crude oil. ठीक है, the price of imported crude oil instead of benchmarking it to prices of the four surplus nations of gas. Okay, not domestic. Domestic crude का कोई मतलब नहीं है. There is nothing to benchmark for domestic crude oil. Okay, Dash joined the NATO on April 4. It is now the 31st NATO member. NATO established in 1949. वर्ल्ड वॉर खत्म होते ही अगले की तैयारी. Correct, Isha. Correct, Professor. Correct, Nivedita. Correct, Swati. Everyone is right. E, Finland is the right answer. Okay, so go through the reports. WB, ADB और RBI तीनों एक साथ ही है, तो कंपेयर करने में और याद रखने में इजी होगा. जस्ट गो थ्रू इट एंड ऐसे पढ़ा करो कि क्वेश्चन दिमाग में बनते रहें कि ये क्वेश्चन आ सकता है तो इसका आंसर ये हो सकता है. ओके, सो दैट्स इट फॉर टुडे. Yes, that's it for today. I hope you like the lecture. अगर आज के लेक्चर से आपके नॉलेज में कोई वैल्यू ऐड हुआ है तो डू लाइक एंड शेयर. मिलते हैं इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास. So thank you, bye bye, and if you have any queries you can reach out to me on Telegram or in the comment section. Thank you, bye.